How you doing, everyone?
Blog Talk
Thanks for tuning
Radio.
in to the Knicks discussion. Now, we have a few topics to talk about today. Let's start with our coaching situation. Now, as we all know, the Knicks hired Derek Fisher as head coach. Now, Fisher became the 26th head coach in franchise history. Now, Fisher, I'm not going to say he wasn't like the dominant point guard. He was always the guy, the smart floor general, He always knew what he was doing. He was always a positive teammate, always someone who his fellow teammates could go to for advice. And Fisher was just always a brilliant basketball mind. Now, he was a 5-time NBA champion with the Lakers. He had an 18-year career. He finished first all-time in playoff game appearances with 259. Now, I think that's big right there because, he obviously has the experience and he's played with great players and he's helped those players take their game to the next level and, get over that hump. Now, Fisher also served as president of the NBA's Players Association from 2006 to 2013. And now, recently, the Knicks hired the first piece of the staff, and it was Kurt Rambis. They hired him as an assistant coach. It was a 4-year, $4.8 million contract. Now, a little bit about Kurt Rambis. Kurt Rambis had 3 stints as an assistant coach for the Lakers. Phil Jackson as well as Derek Fisher. Fisher wanted guys who he was familiar with, guys who he knew, and that's kind of how Phil Jackson was moving too. Phil didn't want to bring in someone he wasn't familiar with. All of the coaching candidates were guys who Phil Jackson already knew, guys who he had previous, experiences with. Now, Rambis actually worked with Phil Jackson in L.A., and he was an assistant coach when Fisher played for the Lakers. Now, Rambis is obviously familiar with the triangle offense, which is what Fisher, as well as the rest of the Knicks coaching staff, is going to try to implement. They're trying to put the triangle offense into effect. Now, this is the first question for you guys. Are you guys happy with our new head coach? Are you guys happy with Derek Fisher? 646-371. Thanks for calling into the Knicks discussion.
Yeah, what's up? This is Rafiq. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Thanks for calling in, Rafiq. Now, how do you feel about Fisher being the Knicks head coach? Are you happy with that decision?
Well, I got to say that I'm very happy with Derek Fisher being coach in a way because usually good point guards wind up being good coaches once they become coaches of NBA teams. Seriously.
True.
Derek Fisher is a really great floor general. He knows how to run his offense when he was playing for the Lakers and the Thunder. And if he can do that as a player, what makes you think he couldn't do it as a coach? Which is why Phil Jackson, a.k.a. the Zen Master, actually knows what he's doing in terms of putting together a good coaching staff that can bring this team to where they need to be.
Yep, let's see. And Fisher is a guy who's, he's good with players. He knows how to talk to players. So hopefully he can get, all our guys on the right track. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm not saying JR is going to get into any incident, but I want to see if JR gets into something, how Fisher is going to deal with it, because he has that reputation of knowing how to speak and handle and deal with players. Now, stay on the line, Rafiq. 973-641. Thanks for calling into the Knicks discussion. 973-641. He's not there anymore. Now, 443-987. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, man. This is Dave out of Maryland, man.
Okay. Got some Maryland people on the line. Thanks for calling in, man. Now, what do you think about Derek Fisher being named the head coach of our Knicks? How do you look at that? How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's a great start, man. I definitely am excited about it. Derek Fisher, obviously, he's well known as a leader. I definitely feel like he can get his voice, you know what I mean? He could definitely get his voice across to J.R. Smith, even though J.R. Smith had a little bit of challenges this year, not being focused,
Uh-huh.
I feel like he's one of those coaches that, you know what I mean, he could talk. Just like sometimes they said Woodson, you know what I mean, had a good impact on J.R. Smith, but I don't think as well as probably as what Phil and J.R. Fisher would have. I also feel like, you know what I mean, showing as being a leader was definitely something that Fisher was doing. And I feel like with the assistant coach and everything, what they're going to all have together, man, this is just going to be amazing for what's about to happen, man, for real.
Me too. I'm excited for Fisher. I mean, you know, they say that some players are going to be great coaches when their time comes, and I honestly feel that's the situation Fisher is in. Now, thanks for calling in, man. Stay on the line. 917-444. Calling in. 917-444. You there? 845-866. Thanks for calling in, man. You there?
Yeah, I'm in. What up?
What's up, man? Tell me your name and where you from.
Brian, I'm from New York, Brooklyn originally.
Okay. Thanks for calling in, Brian. Now, how do you feel about the whole Derek Fisher situation, man? Are you excited that we got him as our coach? How you feel about that?
Well, the whole thing with Derek Fisher, I understand, like, Phil Jackson just brought him in so he could run the triangle through Derek Fisher, so I'm not really I don't know how I feel about Derek Fisher as a coach yet, but I think it's going to be good, though, because it's going to be Phil Jackson running the show, but Derek Fisher is going to be coach, you know.
My
fault.
Nah, you straight. You know, we all had to voice our opinion, man. But like you said, you know, Phil was bringing in a guy who he felt could, you know, run the triangle efficiently. I mean, everyone knew that. That's what Phil's whole objective was: find somebody who I feel can run the triangle. Now, I mean, is Fisher going to be that guy? We'll have to wait and see. Because honestly, nobody in Knicks Nation knows that yet. But I mean, I feel positive. You know, I feel good about Fisher. So we're just gonna have to wait and see with that one. Now, stay on the line, man. Thanks for calling in. On to the next topic here. Let's move on. We're gonna talk about the Melo situation now. Now, today there were reports about the whole Melo situation, saying how within the next 24 hours. Melo will sign a 5-year, $129 million max deal. Now, a lot of Knicks fans were mad about that, wondering why. Melo said he won't take the max deal. He'll take less money, so you know the Knicks could get some more pieces to compete. And I mean, I'm not mad at Melo. I mean, give the man the money. Honestly, Melo could have easily walked away, and a lot of the analysts felt that there was other teams who were interested. And they felt that those situations were better than our situation here in New York. Like the analysts felt that, okay, if Melo goes to Chicago, he fits in, perfectly with Noah, with Taj Gibson, hopefully 100% Derrick Rose. And then the situation out in Houston with Melo was to join Harden and Howard. But like I said, the reports came out today that Melo is supposed to stay with us for a 5-year deal. Now, there was obviously no other team out there that could offer the amount of money that the Knicks could have. The other teams could offer him just $96 million over 4 years. Yeah, I said it's just $96 million, right? Like, that's ridiculous, too. But, I'm just going to go over all the other teams that were interested, how those situations were. Now, the Bulls, if they would acquire Melo, would obviously have to be in a sign and trade because Chicago would have to get rid of Carlos Boozer's contract. Now, the Knicks already made it clear they wanted no parts of Carlos Boozer. But the most the Bulls could have offered Melo was a 4-year deal at approximately $17 million a year. Now, Los Angeles, the Lakers also made it clear that they were prepared to offer him a max contract that would have been $96 million over 4 years. Now, Melo, if he was to go to the Lakers, of course he would join Kobe Bryant. But the Lakers are kind of in the same situation that the Knicks are in because I wouldn't say we're in a total rebuilding stage, but we're kind of at that stage. We're trying to get pieces together to put a team together that can compete for a championship. That's the beauty of Phil Jackson because I honestly feel that especially when 2015 comes around. Phil already made a couple key moves, and when it comes around and the Knicks have all that money, I'm more than confident that Phil would put the right pieces together. Now the Mavs, they just re-signed Dirk, and the Mavs could offer Melo a 17, just about $70 million over 4 years. And if Melo was to go to the Mavericks, he would join Dirk, Monte Ellis, Sean Marion. Is Vince Carter free agent? I'm not sure. The Mavs have a pretty solid team over there too. And now the Rockets, like I said, the Rockets can offer Melo a 4-year, $96 million deal, but they will have to free up the cap base by trading Lynn. Now, Melo is supposed to re-sign with the Knicks, like I said, and that will be for 5 years, $129 million. Now, there's some people who still think that he'll take less money, but once the deal is finalized, we'll see what's up with that. Now, 646-371, Rafiq, how do you feel about the whole Melo situation? He's supposed to come back to the Knicks. How do you feel about all of that?
Well, I actually feel great. I've kind of been desperate in a way for Melo to come back to the Knicks, only because he's pretty much the best chance for the Knicks to actually win a championship anywhere between now and the end of his career. Like, if he had went to the Miami Heat, it would have messed up the whole competition, at least in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it would have been no competition.
Everybody knows Miami was going to win, so the NBA would have lost a lot of fans if he actually went to Miami. And going to the Rockets, you would have to compete with teams like San Antonio and OKC. But I feel that the Rockets, they don't really need Melo on the team because they have the offense that they need on that particular team. James Harden can get you 40 or 45 points whenever he needs to. Dwight Howard is their centerpiece. But since we're only talking about Melo in general, if he were to go to the Bulls only need him because they need more offense because they're a defensive-based team.
That's why a lot of teams, a lot of the analysts felt that Chicago was probably the best situation for Melo because the Bulls are an excellent defensive team and they were lacking on the offensive end. And, Melo would have picked up all of that slack on the offensive end. But he's a Knicks, so they're mad about that. But like I said, thanks for calling in. Rafiq, stay on the line. 845-866. How do you feel about the whole Melo situation?
How do I feel about him signing back, or how do I?
The whole situation in general. He's expected to re-sign with us, like I said, but that hasn't been finalized. It's supposed to happen sometime within the next 24 hours, but the whole situation, like, how did you feel about that? Like, a lot of Knicks fans were all over about the Melo situation.
Me personally, like being a diehard Knicks fan, I'm glad that he came back. But I feel we would have been all right even if he would have left, like especially with our drafts and stuff like that. We obviously wouldn't have been near a contender like how we are with him, if we get pieces around him. But we would have been at least better than we was this past season. You know what I'm saying? Like Chicago, if he would have went to Chicago, I feel he would have made Chicago better. But if Rose went down again, it would be pretty much the same thing with the Knicks. He's just around a whole bunch of people that can't score. You could be as defensive as you want. And as defensive as Chicago was, they still got bounced in the first round by the Wizards. So you can be as defensive as you want. But,
Chicago couldn't score.
Exactly. And it would be the same situation as it was with the Knicks. Just a whole bunch of people around them who just couldn't score and stuff. So that's all that was. But I'm saying I'm glad he's back, though. Hopefully we can get Pau Gasol in there. And really make
that should be next. But the problem with Paul is he was making $19 million last year, and we can't offer nothing but mid-level. So hopefully, the power of Phil, him and Phil Jackson are very good friends. So maybe once Melo resigns, and that'll make it way easier for Phil to convince Paul to come to New York. I know that for a fact. So I'm pretty sure that a move will be made after Melo resigns.
You think maybe we could get him for like 1 year? And then in summer, like free agency 2015, we pay him more. We do it like pay him more than that.
Yeah, or maybe we could pull his brother in 2015. That's when Marc Gasol is a free agent. So I really want that to happen. Honestly, we get Paul for 1 year. I think he can still be productive. We get Paul. He'll have a little 15 points a game, whatever, 8-9 rebounds a game, and then 2016 he could help us convince his brother to come to New York. That'd be clutch. But thanks for your input on that, man. Stay on the line. Now 585-2333. Thanks for calling,
what's up, man?
What's up, man? How do you feel about the whole Melo situation? Now, how do you feel about that? He's expected to stay with us, but, how do you feel about it? The whole free agency thing and him visiting all these teams, that's expected, but how do you feel about it?
I feel the whole time with the deal he's getting offered by the Knicks and what they can give him, he's going to stay with the Knicks. But, and I like this deal, too, because if we get when we sign Melo, and I think that it's a better chance of getting Pau Gasol and just building players around him. It's going to make us a better team. So once he signs, and Phil Jackson has a chance to eventually, once he signs, don't have to worry about Melo, and he can talk to other players. He can get Pau and then hopefully lure his brother in next year and maybe somebody else too. And you never know. Maybe LeBron signs for 1 year this year, and then we sign him in free agency next year because he wants to play with Melo. So that would be cool.
Oh man, that would be ridiculous if LeBron signs for 1 year. He did say that he wanted to play with Carmelo. They've been very close friends since their teenage years, and I don't know. Anything is possible, right? With Phil, I really feel that. With Phil, anything is possible. So let's just sit back and see what happens. Now, thanks for calling this. Stay on the line.
Yeah, no problem.
540-972. Thanks for calling that.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, man? Thanks for calling that.
What do you think about if the LeBron, I don't know, what do you think, if LeBron came to us, I don't know if every Knicks fan would like that. And
he's LeBron, so, we all have our whatever. If we all don't like LeBron or we have a little hatred for him, he's LeBron James.
LeBron has never done it by himself, though. He's only proved himself with a three.
Any basketball fan who says, I don't want LeBron on my team, they're lying to you. Don't believe it. He's the best player in the league. I don't know who would have won on his team. Now, let's go on to our next topic here. We're going to talk about the trade that happened. As you all know, the Knicks traded Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton to Dallas for Jose Calderon, Samuel Dallenberg, Shane Larkin, Wayne Ellington, and 2 second-round picks. Now, Chandler was set to make $14.5 million this upcoming season, and Felton was set to make $4.4 million this upcoming season. Now, getting rid of these two shaved about $8 million off the club's salary for this upcoming season. Now, this just gave Phil, a little more flexibility to sign low-level or mid-level free agents this summer. Now, Phil said the trade happened because of chemistry issues. Now, he said that there were issues between Tyson Chandler and his character, I also heard, which surprised me because Tyson Chandler seems like the guy who's, he's a leader. He's a guy who always plays with energy. He's motivating his teammates around him all the time. So when I heard that he was traded because of character issues, I was like, wow. Now, here's what Phil had to say about Jose Calderon. He said, Jose is a thoughtful guard. He's got great control of the ball. He pushes the ball, accelerates it up the court. He's a very good three-point shooter. He organizes the team quite well, and we anticipate he'll fit in to what we're trying to do. Now, this is what Phil had to say about Samuel Dallenberg, because honestly, those two were the key components to this trade because we traded 2 of our starters for 2 of their starters. Now, about Samuel Dallenberg, Phil said he can replace Tyson's defensive ability. Maybe not be the defensive player of the year like Tyson was, but he's going to be a quality defender. Now, I knew that the whole time. Samuel Dallenberg is an excellent defender. He's not much of a scorer, but we don't need him to drop buckets. He's gonna hold his own on the defensive end, and that's what we need out of him. Now, taking a look at the numbers, Calderon is 32 years old. Last season, he averaged 11.4 points per game and 4.7 assists per game. For his career, he's averaging 10.2 points per game and 6.8 assists per game. Felton, who he shipped away, our boy Raymond Felton. He's 30 years old. Last season, he averaged 9.7 points per game and 5.6 assists per game. For his career, Felton is averaging 13.1 points per game and 6.5 assists per game. Samuel Dallenberg. Now we're comparing the two big men. Samuel Dallenberg, he's 33 years old. Last season, he averaged 6.6 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game, and 1.2 blocks per game. For his career, Dallenberg is averaging 7.8 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, and 1.8 blocks per game. Chandler, our boy Tyson Chandler, he's 31 years old. Last season, he averaged 8.7 points per game, 9.6 boards, and 1.1 blocks per game. For his career, Chandler is averaging 8.7 points per game, 9.1 rebounds per game, and 1.3 blocks per game. Now, my question is, were you guys happy with this trade? I've seen a lot of, mixed feelings about the trade as well. 646-371. Now, how do you feel about that trade that the Knicks made with the Mavs? Were you a fan of it, or?
Well, I'm kind of sort of in between. I mean, Jose Calderon, okay, I'll admit, the guy has a good shooting percentage. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
But he does kind of have to improve a little bit in his scoring a little bit, Same goes for Samuel Dallenberg. Because a good center partially comes from having big numbers and stuff, not just in rebounding, but in scoring as well. If he doesn't step up his scoring a little bit, then pretty much it's a downgrade from Tyson Chandler,
I mean, Tyson Chandler wasn't really a dominant scorer. I mean, it's not like Tyson Chandler was the guy, you feed him down low and he's just going to, dominate the center with post moves. Chandler got his points off of putbacks, alley-oops, stuff like that. So,
and that's another thing that Samuel Dallenberg has to work on, and Jose Calderon has to work on. They need to be the new Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton offense to run the triangle offense that Derek Fisher and Phil Jackson is trying to accumulate.
But Dallenberg, he's not the offensive plans of the triangle. Dallenberg is really not going to be, like a main focus. It's going to be Calderon, Melo. Dallenberg's there to grab boards, play defense, honestly. Thanks for calling in, though, Rafiq. Stay on the line. Now, 845-866. How do you feel about the trade that the Knicks made with the Mavs? You a fan of that trade, or?
I'm a fan of it. I think it's an upgrade, in my opinion, because Calderon, he can run the team more efficiently. Felton realistically hasn't been good on the Knicks since the first time he joined. I mean, in last year sometimes. When he took over in Miami when we didn't have Melo. So other than that, this year, he complains too much without getting back. Sometimes if he don't have nothing, he just chucks up crazy shots. I think as far as point guard, I think it's an upgrade. As far as center position, Samuel Dallenberg, Tyson Chandler, I feel it's the same thing. They pretty much the same kind of players.
Exactly. I think that's why Phil made this trade with no hesitation. I mean, it's not like Chandler was the type of center who was, a dominant offensive player or something like that. That's not the case. Chandler was the guy who he's getting you hustle points. He's catching alleys. I mean, there's no reason why I don't see Dallenberg, possibly scoring 9 points a game and grabbing 9 balls and playing defense. That's really what Tyson Chandler does. So I don't think it's going to be big shoes to. I don't think it's going to be big shoes to fill for Dallenberg, honestly. And another thing.
What you going to say?
Another thing that people don't know.
My bad. No, you got it.
No, you say. Yeah, another thing is that hopefully, Calderon, he played with Bargnani, so I don't know. Maybe he could, help Bargnani step his game up a little bit, and let's see what happens with that. What you were going to say now?
No, I was going to say, to me, Jose Calderon is going to be like a younger Pablo Prigioni minus the defense. I'm talking about as far as, if you leave Pablo Prigioni open.
He's gunning that.
It's pretty much wet. So I think that's good. He's a better shooter than Raymond Felton.
Way better shooter. He got straight balls.
We upgraded at the point guard position. Not to mention they got Shane Larkin as they got Shane Larkin too. So I'm good with it.
I'm looking forward to seeing Larkin too. He's a sleeper in that trade, in my opinion. I mean, the 2 draft picks were huge though. The 2 draft picks were definitely the best part of the trade, in my opinion. But Shane Larkin,
early, man.
Yes. Shane Larkin, I can't wait to see that man ball. Thanks for calling in, though. Stay tuned. Now, 646-861.
Yeah?
Thanks for calling into the Knicks discussion. Now, how do you feel about the trade that the Knicks made with the Mavs? Were you a fan of that trade?
Big fan of that trade. I'm happy we got rid of Raymond Felton because his inability to guard his man caused so many defensive mishaps on our team. He could not guard the pick and roll. He can't. He couldn't face up against half the point guards in this league. Russell Westbrook would kill him. Darren Williams, all those. We need like an elite point guard. So I think Calderon is. He's used to playing in the. He's a Western Conference player. He's used to playing against tough point guards. So I think he'll do his own defensively. But offensively, you're right. He's one of the most efficient shooters we have in this league. I'm happy we got him. Tyson Chandler didn't even look too excited being on the Knicks this season, honestly. He was
just lacking. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, he was happy he got traded back to
Dallas. Yep, he was. I mean, but
yeah.
Hey, let's see. I think Dallenberg is, like I said, I think they'll his shoes perfectly. Thanks for your input. Stay tuned. Now, 540-972. Thanks for calling into the Knicks discussion.
I called again, but we all talk about Cle Anthony early, but what about Fananis, however the fuck you say his last name? Like, holy...
No,
he's
that's
good.
Coming up next.
He's good at defense. Have you seen his D-League highlights?
That's coming up next. Stay tuned. Now, 718-419. Thanks for calling into the Knicks discussion.
Yeah. Hello?
Now, how do you feel about the trade that the Knicks made with the Mavericks?
Oh, I'm more than excited.
Of that trade?
I'm more than excited about that trade. I think we made an excellent choice. Excellent choice, because I've been watching the Knicks since John Starks. You know what I'm saying? I've been a Knicks fan forever, and I believe that we really did our thing with this trade. Tyson Chandler, I'm glad he's gone. He's a pussy when it comes to guarding the damn basket. He's weak, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, Kenyon Martin, you know what I'm saying, was a way better, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Kenyon Martin, he doesn't play no games. Kenyon Martin's from the 90s. It's a different ball game.
I believe in the Knicks bully ball. That's what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we need back. We need that roughness under that, under the rim right there. So Chandler, he can go. Felton, I'm glad he's out of here because he was a loose cannon on the court. You understand what I'm saying?
He couldn't guard nobody.
I'm sorry?
He couldn't guard nobody. I mean, Felton was a liability on the defense.
Yeah, he was
that.
Definitely, he was a loose cannon. So I think that we really made our choice. We made a good choice, and that's the reason why Melo stays. Hands down.
Thanks for your input. Stay tuned. Now 732-850. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man? How do you feel about the trade that the Knicks made with the Mavericks?
I feel good about it. Yeah, I feel good about it because, Felton was a lack. He was really, lazy, I felt. And, we got good people for that. Calderon is a really good upgrade at point guard. Dallenberg is maybe not as good as Tyson, but, at least we got rid of Felton. And I'm really excited for Shane Larkin. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, honestly, I think it was a win, man. It's not like we opened up a whole lot of cap space, but we freed up a little bit of money by shipping out those two. And I don't know, if any Knicks fan feels that trade wasn't a win, I don't understand how, because Chandler...
Yeah, they rather want Felton?
I'm not going to lie. I mean, Chandler is better than Samuel Dallenberg, but is he better than him by, is it obvious? Oh, my God, why did the Knicks make that stupid trade? No. I mean, Dallenberg is not that bad, and Chandler is declining, unfortunately. So he can go finish his career in Dallas, and we can build what we're building here in New York now. I mean, the show is about to end, guys. I was supposed to discuss our draft picks and my thoughts on them and get your thoughts on our draft picks, but I'll save that for the next show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. The Knicks discussion.